Hello fellow manlands, it's me, the Wandering Fumarole. Here, today, we are doing an unboxing of Commander Legends Dungeons & Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate. This here is a set booster box of, how many packs we got? Something like 18 boosters. Sweet, it's pretty good. And you guaranteed one foil, one traditional foil, an art card, foil etched card, and you also get those very juicy list cards, some of which are pretty sweet. Like we got Vampiric Tutor last set, which was really nice. So Baldur's Gate comes out on the 10th of June, with pre-release on the 3rd. At this particular moment, at time of recording, the spoilers are all out, and a key thing worth noting as well is that this is none of this product was paid for, so none of this has been bought. It's all store stock from an LGS, so this is from an LGS in New Zealand where we're recording it, and I am doing this on behalf of the Ascrius channel. So I am considering starting my own content at some point in the near future under the name Wandering Fumarole, which is just a name I picked out and I just enjoy the sound of the name. So yeah, this is my first sort of foray into content, and Ascrius channel has been very gracious in allowing me to give this a go. And so yeah, it's gonna be exciting. So let's tap and man that land, and let's get on into the unboxing. Alright, so we've got the old wizard seal, of course, to prove that it's legitimate, which we love, of course. Alright, let's do it. So I personally am a big Commander player, not so much competitive Magic anymore. I used to play back in the day, but not so much these days. I prefer just playing Commander and having a good time with friends, you know? And I think that's very important these days to do that. So you got your lovely little ad card here with Fibbletip and his mate. And then you got Kiora, Kaya, Jace, Tybalt, Amara, and some goblin playing some games. Alright, and we got booster packs here with Boo. Alright, let's get into it. So the first thing we see, the Undercity. So the Undercity is a new dungeon, which is pretty sweet. I believe it interacts a lot with the initiative. So also a key point to make is that I haven't seen all the set. I've looked at bits and bobs as I've sort of, you know, heard things from friends and things like that. But a lot of the set is still new to me, but that's going to be quite exciting to just read along with you guys and find that out for myself. So the Undercity. Let's see here. So you search for a basic land, then put counters on a guy, you can scry 2, make someone lose 5 life, go to thing, make a treasure, draw a card, make a 4/1 with menace, and then eventually look at the top 3, or reveal the top 10. Put a creature from among them into play with 3 counters on it. It gains hexproof until your next turn, then shuffle. Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty sweet. And it looks like, unlike the other dungeons, this one specifically says you need to venture into the Undercity, so it's its own unique thing. So that's pretty sweet. And on the other side of it, we have the initiative. Here we go. So, whenever one or more creatures a player controls deals combat damage to you, they take the initiative. And when you take the initiative, and at the beginning of your turn, upkeep rather, you venture into the Undercity. Alright, so the initiative seems like Wizards' new take on the monarchy. So rather than Monarch, you've got this one, which is upkeep rather than end step, but you also get it when you hit them. So, seems good. It's sort of, I think, I suppose it would depend at what point in the Undercity you're in, but seems pretty good. I like it. And new mechanics like Monarchy are always really welcome, I think, to Commander players, because they add a lot of interaction to a game and make sure the game keeps progressing at quite a steady rate, which we all love. Alright, we have a little art card of the little hippo guy. Hippo elephant wing thing. That looks pretty sweet, straight from out of like a D&D rulebook. Got your foil planes. That's pretty sweet. And I love that they did, with the D&D set, they did the whole like flavor text on the card, even if it was a basic land. And it sort of all the flavor text on the basic land sounds straight out of like a DM. So it's like, you arrive at Baldur's Gate with instructions to head straight to the heart of the rumor mill, the bakery. So the lands sort of tell the story of an adventure as if the DM was telling it to a party of adventurers, which is, I love that. Alright, a Moss Diamond. So, Commander All-Star, gotta love your 2-drop mana rocks. Enter tapped, and it adds green. So these were in the other Commander Legends set, and now they're back, and now you can get them in the good old sketch frame. So, that's good. I don't mind that. I mean, with these, that sort of makes the color identity harder to tell at a glance, but I think it just looks really unique, and unique is great. So, Cloak of the Bat. Flying and Haste, equipment, costs 2, 2 to equip. Flying and Haste. Okay, sure. Why not? Pseudo Dragon Familiar. 3 mana for a 2/1 flyer, and pay 3 to give something else flying. And I notice here, any target creature. So in Commander, you can be like, oh, hey, Bob, your guy has flying now. Go smack Billy. And then Bob will go and attack Billy for you, because you've given his thing flying. So we love that. Nefarious Imp, 2/1 flyer again, and whenever one or more permanents you control leave the battlefield, scry 1. Okay. Yep. Yeah. Seems good. Cone of Cold. Sorcery, roll a d20. Tap all creatures your opponents control if you roll a 1 to 9. 10 to 19, tap them all, they don't untap next turn. Or if you roll a 20, you tap all creatures they control, they don't untap, and until your next turn, all your creatures that the opponents play enter tapped. That's pretty sweet. I think with these, I think that they should have done more of like a downside if you rolled a 1, because in D&D, you know, if you roll a 1, you fall over, or you like break your neck, or you stab someone else by accident or whatever. So I think that with the dice cards, rolling a 20 is good because they've given it way more upside, but rolling a 1 should have given you way more downside. That's just a thing that I thought they should have done, which would have made it a bit more cool. I mean, of course, you know, you might get the real unlucky player who rolls 3 1s in a row in a game and just feels terrible, but that's part of the fun, you know? And it's not like this is a standard or a modern set. You know, we're not that competitive compared to that, so it should have been more exciting in my opinion, but, you know, it is what it is. Alright, you got your Juvenile Mist Dragon, 5 mana 4/3 flyer. When it comes into play, for each opponent, tap one of their creatures, and it doesn't untap. Yep, so he freezes a thing from everyone. Sure. Oh, we got a background. Nice. Okay. So these interact with the commanders. So there's a bunch of new legendaries who say, you know, they might be a color, and then they say you also get to choose a background. And when you choose a background, if that background's color is different to the legend that chose the background, the color identity is both the colors you chose. So if you have like, we'll find an example later, but this background is your commander is basically a Sword Coast sailor, as well as whatever they are, and commander creatures you own have, whenever that creature attacks a player, if no opponent has more life than that player, this creature can't be blocked this turn. Sweet, so if you attack the person with the most life, then your commander's unblockable. Okay, yeah, I like that. So you might choose a commander that really likes combat damage, for instance. So we'll leave our background there for now, and we'll come back to that later. Alright, Sailor's Bane. 9 mana, 7 blue for a 7/7. It's a dragon turtle, and it costs 1 less for each card you own in exile and in your graveyard. That's an instant, a sorcery, or a card that has an adventure, and it has Ward 4. Nice, big beater, costs less. It's fine, it's just a big boy. We like big boys, whatever, it's fine. Raphael, Fiendish Savior. He's a 5 mana 4/4 flyer. Other demons, devils, imps, and tieflings you control get +1/+1 in lifelink. At the beginning of each end step, if a creature was put into your graveyard from anywhere this turn, create a 1/1 red devil. When this creature dies, it does 1 damage to any target. So, he interacts with mill, with discard, with dying, and he just makes more devils. And he buffs all your devils, demons, imps, tieflings. Nice. It's fine. Yeah, why not? Oh, we got another background. So if you want to make your commander be a scion of Hallister, your commander would then have, the first time you would draw a card, instead look at the top 2 of your library, put one of them into your graveyard, put the other back on top, then draw a card. That's cute. So if you want a commander that cares about the graveyard or having things in the graveyard, this is the background for you. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. The other cool thing about these backgrounds is that you can just play them in the 99, you know, in your deck. So sometimes they are just nice to have in like a different commander deck. You might be playing something completely different, but enjoy a background and the way it interacts with your commanders. So that's cool. Tavern Brawler, another background. So if your commander is a drunk guy who likes to hit people, your commander would have, at the start of your upkeep, exile the top card of your deck. That creature gets +X/+O until end of turn, where X is the card's CMC, or mana value now. You may play that card this turn. Alright, so yeah, you get an extra card every turn in red, which is quite sweet, and your commander gets bigger. Yeah, so if you're in like mono red or red white, that's good. Like if you want to just smack people for more damage, there you go. I am just sort of making like a weird amorphous pile over here, but we'll sort the cards later. It's all good. Alright, another background. They're everywhere now. More like foreground. Okay. Shameless Charlatan. So if you want your commander to be a shameless charlatan, your commanders have pay 3, becomes a copy of another creature. So your commander sort of becomes like a weird mirage mirror. It can sort of become any other creature at any time. Oh, but no, it doesn't retain that ability though. So it can do that once. Huh. I don't think that's great. But alright. Oh, we got a mythic. Balor. He's a demon. It's a 5/5 with flying. Whenever he attacks or dies, choose one or more. Each mode must target a different player. So one of your opponents draws 3 and then discards 3 at random. An opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact, or he does damage to target opponent equal to the number of cards in their hand. So he dies and you go, you get cards, then discard them. You sack a thing, and you take damage. Yeah? Oh, it's an attack trigger as well. Yeah, okay. I think that's not bad. I wish that would have been cool as a legendary creature, though. I think to actually be a commander, to do that a lot. But that's as it is. It's all right. And it's a demon for your demon guy. So okay, yeah. And finally, we have a foil. Ooh, let's try to say this. Arakokra, Sneak. It's a bird rogue for 4 mana, flying, and when he comes into play, you take the initiative. So you get you get this, you get to venture into the Undercity. Yeah. And he thinks he hears goblins. Shh, I think I hear goblins, and I definitely smell them. Meh, I'm a bird. Cool. Alright. Let's move on to the next pack. Another key thing here worth noting for me is that I haven't played D&D extensively. I've dabbled in it. I have like a little group with my friends that we started during lockdown. But I'm not huge on it, but I know all the references, sort of. So I won't be able to be like, ooh, this is a reference to this specific thing from like the 90s or whatever. But I do know some. So we'll go with that as we move on. Also, I'm going to do the pack sort of a bit faster each time. We'll do the first couple slowly, and then we'll sort of go faster as we go, just to sort of keep the pace. Alright, we've got an art card of this merfolk lady. A and it gives the stats. So, that's cute. So it gives you the actual D&D what do you call it, profile from the book, for some reason. Alright. Sure, why not? That's cool for all the D&D people. Nice. A swamp with flavor text. At the mouth of the sewer pipe, you realize it's massive enough that even a giant could walk through without stooping. That gives you an idea. Roll for acrobatics. Cool. Alright, we've got a decanter of endless water. So it looks like, so far anyway, that all of these come with a sketched common. But we'll park that idea and see what happens later. Alright. No maximum hand size, and add 1 mana of any color. So it's just a colored version of Thought Vessel for 1 more mana. Yeah, I'd probably rather play Thought Vessel, but that's okay. Good old Lightning Bolt. Love a good Lightning Bolt. That looks really cool. I think it's supposed to be maybe Magic Missile, kind of. But, yeah, nice. In fact, the foils on these always look really good, but it's a good Lightning Bolt. I didn't realise Lightning Bolt was back in the set, but it is, so that's sweet. Good old Murder. Everyone loves Murder. You know, except people who don't love Murder, but you know, there's Murder. Poison the Blade. So 2 mana, give a thing Death Touch, draw a card. And again, I love that in Commander Legends they always print target creature, not your creature, so that you can mess with your opponents and do stuff with your enemies and make friends and sort of do stuff that interacts with the table more than just you. I really like that. So for instance, if your opponents are doing like a janky combat and there's like a weird block, you can be like, aha, Billy's thing has Death Touch now. And then it's like, ah, that's awkward. Yeah. Deadly Dispute, another reprint from Adventures in the Forgotten Realms, so it's back. So it's just like sort of better village rights because it ramps you, but it's 1 more mana. And you can sack artifacts rather than just creatures. Yeah, love a good Deadly Dispute. Avenging Hunter, 5 mana Trample Dragon Ranger, 5/4, and he takes the initiative. Yep. Dungeon Delver, so it's a background, so your commanders have your dungeons trigger twice. Nice. Nice. So for instance, you might put this in like the Sephiroth deck. So Sephiroth doesn't have choose a background, but you can just run this in the 99 in a Sephiroth deck and trigger the dungeon more, which I definitely would run that because that deck is sweet. I built that a while ago and it was really nice. Alright. Imoen, Mystic Trickster. So she's a 3 mana 2/3 with Ward 2. She's a human rogue wizard, and at the start of your end step, if you have the initiative, draw a card, draw another card if you've completed a dungeon, and you choose a background. So that's really good. So you could pair her with this background, trigger the dungeon twice as much, and then just keep on going, keep on rolling. But then you could also choose any of the other backgrounds that we saw previously, so you could make her like, you know, a bar brawler or a sailor, and do those effects if you thought that that was better. But I think Dungeon Delver paired with her would be sweet. So that's a good example. Rilsa Rail, Kingpin. 3 blue-black for a 2/5 human rogue Death Touch. When she comes into play, you take the initiative. Whenever you attack, target attacking creature gains Death Touch until end of turn. If you've completed a dungeon, that creature also gets +5/+0 and gains First Strike and Menace until end of turn. First Strike and Death Touch, famously a pretty good combo. With Menace as well, that's fine. I don't think Menace, Death Touch, First Strike is a great combination to have. You don't really want all 3. I think just First Strike and Death Touch is sweet because you want them to block you. Giving it Menace just sort of muddies the waters a little bit, but it's fine. I mean, she is an uncommon, let's be honest here. Yeah, she's fine. Again, I really like as well that they've started to print more just whenever you attack, because that means that her effect sort of has haste. So it means that, you know, if she dies multiple times in a game in your command zone, you can play her later and still get her effect right away, rather than have to wait a whole turn cycle of the table to untap with it. So for instance, I recently built Rafine from New Capenna, however you want to say it, and again, she also has whenever you attack, which I think is a really good way to fix effects that don't need haste, but have functional haste, which is really cool. Yes, Glunch! Glunch, I love this card. I saw this and I was like, I love him. So he's a 1 green-white for a 0/5 flying jellyfish. At the beginning of your end step, choose a player. They put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature they control. Choose a second player to draw a card. Then choose a third player to create 2 treasure tokens. So, in a 4-player game, you basically get to exclude someone from the table and give 3 gifts to yourself, someone, and someone else. And you just get to say, Billy's being a bully, he gets nothing, I'm drawing a card, Sam's getting 2 counters on his creature, and Bob's getting 2 treasures. Sorry, Billy, you're being mean. Or, if you're feeling real nice, you can just give all 3 things to your opponents and none to yourself, so that they leave you alone, so you can sit there with your jellyfish and relax. I really like this. I think I'm going to build this at some point, because I used to have a weird group hug deck, but it was a bit dumb because the win con was just giving everyone Platinum Angel and making the game never ending, which it was fun for like 2 games and then it got a bit old. So yep. Master Chef. So if you want your commander to be Gordon Ramsay, they enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter, and your other creatures also enter the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter. So you feed your commander, they feed everyone else, they all get bigger, and they never forget the lamb sauce. Oh, especially when they see it twice and it's foil and nice looking and etched, kind of. Yup, you'll never forget the lamb sauce now, and you definitely won't throw out all the carbonara. Oh yes, this guy's sweet. So you got Gorion, Wise Mentor. So Bant, so green, white, and blue for a 3/4 with Vigilance, Human Wizard. Whenever you cast an adventure spell, you may copy it. You may choose new targets for the copy. So whenever you like cast Beanstalk Giant's little adventure side or something like that, you get it twice. So he's Lucky Clover in the command zone, which is pretty cool. And I think that when new adventures come out, he'll be a very good commander for that. I think there are some in this set. I don't know how good they are yet. Of course, we haven't played with them yet, but we're going to find out soon enough. Another Cloak of the Bat, Flying Haste, equipped for 2, and a good old mini-game thing. So they give you these little mini-games that you can play with the booster packs, and they're like, fine. I don't think I've actually ever done one of these. I prefer just opening a pack and not taking ages to play one of these. It is 10 minutes, I suppose, to play, but they seem fine. They're fine enough. Alright, let's blaze on through now. We're going to go quite fast now just to get to the rare and the exciting stuff, so let's go. Oh, yep, and this guy, if we see him, he's really good. Good commander. I think it's going to be yuck, but we'll see. If we find him, I'll describe him more, but he just gets to do a lot. Oh, yeah. Legendary Orc Ranger. Whenever she does combat damage for each token. Oh, yes! So whenever she does combat damage to a player, you make a 1/1 rabbit token for each token you have. Nice. What's this do? Oh, yes, gates. So gates are back in this set, which are really sweet. This thing goes and finds gates for you, puts them into play tapped. Oh, yeah, so it's like a slow artifact cultivate thing, which is fine. It finds gates if you're desperate for gates. Oh, yep, there you go. There's 3 Orbs of Dragonkind? Sure. So the Orbs of Dragonkind are back, except there's 1 for each color. This one makes them come in with a counter, and gives it hexproof until your next turn. This one makes you scry 2, and this one gives it haste. So if you want to play dragons, there's your dragons. And that was awesome to get 3 in a row just now. And here's a dragon. And it has an adventure. Nice. Yep. Got a Sigil of Miracle. Modify Memory. Iron Mastiff. Rilsa again. So you can make your commander exile a creature you control and put it back into play at the end step if it's tapped. Nice. English. An etched sailor background. A background that makes your a background that makes your commander raised by giants. So your commanders have base power and toughness 10/10 and are giants. So you could play, your pirate lady, no, your wizard lady, and be like, oh yeah, she was raised by giants. She's a 10/10 now. Good luck blocking her. That also makes commander damage really interesting. I like that. A gnome who puts a counter on herself whenever another creature you control leaves. Sure. And we got the initiative and the Undercity. Sweet. So it looks like the Undercity always comes on the back of the initiative. Nice. Alright. Let's keep on going. We got a sketch of something. I've got planes, a sketch of Rilsa, a sketch of the Kadra Orc Lady again, a 1/1 with Myriad. So Myriad, if you don't know what Myriad is, is whenever a creature with Myriad attacks, you make a copy of the attacking creature with Myriad for each other opponent that it could be attacking. So this 1/1 goes, here, attack, Billy, and then Bob and Sam also get a 1/1 attacking each of them as well. So that's neat. It's a 1/1 though, so you know, you've got to make it bigger, otherwise it's just going to die. Here's a gate. Comes in tapped. Oh, so yeah, so this is like, oh look at that, 2 gates. So these function just like the Thriving Lands from Jumpstart, except, you know, they're gates. So if you like gates, there's gates. An Arcane Signet, that looks really cool. Nice reprint. Love a good Arcane Signet. We've got an Elf Cleric. She cares about creatures in the graveyard, and she has a background. So she could be raised by giants. She would have that black one that mills you cards. Neat. Got a 3/3 with Myriad. When it attacks, tap a thing. 3/2 with Flying and Flash. And when it comes to play, tap a thing. Ah, we got Baal, Lord of Murder. If your life total is less than or equal to half your life total, your starting life total, he has Indestructible. Whenever your non-token creatures die other than him, put a counter on a creature and goad it. I love goad. I built Kit Kanto from New Capenna, and goad is so much fun. I love how much goad they're printing these days. Makes for fast games, makes sort of the more meek players actually have to get in for damage. I like that. Love goad. Yep, there's your Scion of Hallister background, so you pair that with the elf we just saw, and that would be quite a neat pairing. She cares about stuff in the yard. This puts stuff in the yard. Mono black, graveyard, gravy. Like it. Got Flaming Fist. A background. Your commanders have, whenever it attacks, it gains double strike. Nice. We've got Astarion the Decadent. 6 mana, 4/4, Death Touch Lifelink. At the end step, choose one. Target opponent loses life equal to the amount of life they lost this turn, or you gain life equal to the amount of life you gained this turn. So it's like, you can play lifelink and life gain, or you can just play let's kill you faster. So, neat. Got a Clockwork Fox. So I guess this is like the upgrade to Filigree Familiar, I suppose, right? Kind of. When it leaves play, you draw 2 and each opponent draws 1. Never mind, it's not as good. But, it looks cute. And look, it's a fox with a watering can watering roses. How can you not love that? Plus, Clockwork Fox is just so much fun to say. Got a 4/1 skeleton and an ad. Alright, let's keep on moving. Dragon, Island, Halcyon, Decanter, a Scaled Nurturer, cares about dragons, a guy who untaps stuff, a dragon who gets +1 counters, a dragon who loots, a dragon who has trample and an adventure to counter... Oh yeah, this is quite a cool one. So it has an adventure to counter an activated or triggered ability from a non-creature source. Neat. So, and I like that because it means that you can play like non-creature spells in a creature deck, you know? I like that they do that with adventures. Good old Amethyst Dragon. Got an adventure, Flying Haste. Topaz Dragon. We got dragon. This is just the dragon pack, I think. We got a Topaz Dragon, Flying and Death Touch. Coalescer. I like this one. So this is green-blue for a 1/4. Legendary creature Dragon Bard. You may look at the top card of your deck at any time, and you may play dragon spells from the top of your deck. So, green-blue dragons, pretty good. Plus you can play like changelings, or like crib swap, if you somehow had white in your deck, and he wasn't your commander. Yeah. Oh yes, a background, Noble Heritage. Your commander has, when it comes into play at the beginning of your upkeep, each player may put 2 counters on a creature they control. For each opponent who does, you gain protection from that player until your next turn. Nice. That's pretty good. That's like a better version of that like Orzhov Pontiff guy who does a similar thing. Nice. You got a background, Feywild Visitor. Your commanders have, whenever they deal combat damage, you make a 1/1 fairy. Wand of Wonder. 4 mana for an artifact. Pay 4 and tap it, roll a d20. Each opponent exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile an instant or sorcery, then shuffles the rest into their library. You may cast up to X instant or sorcery spells. From among them, exiled this way without paying their mana costs. And when you roll the dice, if it's a 1 to 9, X is 1. 10 to 19, X is 2. 20, X is 3. See, wouldn't it have been hilarious if 1 was just X is 0? That's pretty alright though. And it's each opponent. Yeah, I dig it. Got a 2 mana, 1/3. Pay 8 to draw 2 cards. And it's called Sleight of Hand. Sure. I mean, you got to be pretty lucky if you're paying 8 mana to draw 2 cards and you're not dying. If that's all you're doing. But you know what? It is what it is. Alright. Let's keep on going. Alright. Now we're just going to sort of move quite quickly to the rare, I think. There's a Marble Diamond. Ah, good old Wilson. He's a 2 mana 2/2 bear. He can't be countered. Your Vigilance, Reach, Trample, and Ward 2. And he gets a background. Nice. Nice. Graham Stark will be very happy. Alright. Flaming Fist. Lausanne. Levan. Acolyte of Bahamut. Your commanders have the first dragon you cast costs 2 less. Nice. Dragon Ranger. Mazzy. Whenever an enchanted creature attacks one of your opponents, it gets +2/+0 and gains trample until end of turn. Whenever an aura you control is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, exile it until the end of your next turn. You may cast that card. Neat. 9 auras. On a Halfling Knight. Yeah, why not? Another background. Soldier. Another background to be a guild artisan. Oh, yes, Traverse the Outlands. This is one of my favourite cards. Get X basic lands where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. So it's just, oh, I've got a 20/20. Let's get all the basics in my deck real quick. Nice. Love, and that art, that's a really good reprint. Because the only print I think it had so far is from the cat deck. The cat commander deck, Arabo. So that, very good reprint. I like this card a lot. Very good. Oh, nice. We got a what do you call it? The list card, and it's Death Coil Worm, with brilliant art by Rebecca Gay, or Rebecca Guay. I think it is Gay, Rebecca Gay. Anyway, 8 mana for a 7/6 with the lovely sword and shield. When it attacks and is blocked, you may choose to have it deal damage to the defending player instead of to the creatures blocking it. Yeah, that's really cool looking. I love her art. I once built a commander deck which was just her art tribal. It wasn't good, and there's only one commander for it, in green-white, but sweet. Alright, next pack. A signed card with art. Nice. That gold lettering is really nice. Alright. Nice. Universal Solvent. Busybody, Inspiring Leader. There's our Orc Ranger in the regular art. Abdel Adrian. When he comes into play, exile any number of other non-land permanents to make a 1/1 for each thing that you exiled. He's alright. Ah, if you want to make your bear a cultist, you can make your commander creatures have +3/+3, flying, death touch, ward, pay 3 life, and the start of your upkeep, sack a creature. So yeah, if you want your Lulu to be a cultist, you can do that. Speaking of Lulu, she is, or he, I don't know, it is cute as hell, and it has flying. It's a 3/2. At the start of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, put a counter on each tapped creature you control, and then untap them. Nice! And it looks so cheerful, except when it's a cultist. Sweet. Will's Reversal. Pay 3. Instant. Choose a spell or ability with 1 or more targets, roll a d20, and then if it's a 1 to 14, you may choose new targets for it, and if it's a 15 or more, you choose new targets for that spell or ability and copy it. Oh, and you also add the greatest power among creatures you control to the dice result. Nice. That's pretty good. And a foil Arcane Signet. And look at that. Look at that rabbit. Look at the rabbit. Look at the rabbit. Alright. Next pack. Sketch, Forest, got our Dragon Boy, Commander Liara, Pack Attack, Band Together, Meet in the Tavern, Agent, another Agent, Safana, Lae'zel, Acolyte, ooh, Baba Lysaga, Baba Lysaga, Baba Yaga. She's a Night Witch, she's a human warlock, she's slightly misprinted from the left. She taps and sacrifices 3 things. If there were 3 or more card types among the things you sacrificed, each opponent loses 3 life, you gain 3 life, and you draw 3 cards. Huh. That's neat. I like that. That's really cool, actually. Huh. We got a 5/3 with Trample. When it comes into play, you take the initiative. Whenever it attacks, you exile the top card of your deck. If you've completed a dungeon, you may play that card this turn without paying. Otherwise, you can just play it this turn. Yeah. Ooh, we got 9 Fingers Keen. Sultai, 1 black, green, blue for a 4/4 with Menace. Ward, pay 9 life. Sure. Whenever he does combat damage to a player, look at the top 9 cards of your deck. I guess he cares about the number 9, that's the gimmick here. You may put a gate card from among them into play. Then if you control 9 or more gates, put the rest into your hand. Otherwise, put them on the bottom of your deck. That's awesome. Sultai Gate Tribal. Yeah, why not? Commander Liara Porter. 5 mana, 5/3. Whenever you attack... Oh yeah, this is quite a good one. I remember reading this one. So whenever you attack, your spells cast from exile this turn cost X less, where X is the number of players being attacked. Then you exile the top X cards of your library. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among them. So it's like Boros, go wide with lots of creatures, or just go wide at each player, I suppose, and then get fat discounts on your other spells. Nice. It's sort of like... Nah, it's not that comparable to Winota, but like Boros is getting a lot more like Boros cares about attacking to get benefits cards, so neat. And we got another list card. It's a 7 mana, 4 damage to anything, you gain 4 life. It's terrible, but it's fine. Alright, next. Let's just go straight to the rare. We've got Earthquake Dragon. 14 and a green for a 10/10. Costs X less to play, where X is the number of mana value of your dragons. Flying Trample. And you can sacrifice a land to put it back in your hand from your graveyard. And it's just a big mana costed big thing. Nice. We got a red dragon with an adventure and initiative. Sweet. Alright. Got Lulu's art card. Get to the rare. We got 9 fingers, except this time he's etched. We got a Furbolg Flutist. Whenever he comes into play, gain control of a creature, untap it, it gains haste and myriad. Neat. We got... Oh yes, we got the Dragon Spirit. This thing is sweet. So it's 3 green, blue, red for a 6/6 with flying and ward 2. Whenever another dragon comes into play, if it's not a token, make a token of it, except the token isn't legendary if the dragon is legendary. So you could play like Old Gnawbone from the other set and have 2 Old Gnawbones forever. It's very good. Very good. Master Chef, there's Gordon Ramsay again. Alright, next pack. Alright. We got, oh yes, Sea of Clouds. So these untapped lands, if you have more opponents than just one, are getting a reprint, and they're very good. So this is very good. These are the Battle Bond ones, so they haven't been printed in a wee while. Maybe Zendikar Expeditions, but these are very good. So that's sweet. Alright. Next, we got Raised by Giants, we got Astarion, and we got Barroom Brawl. Byron Brawl's quite sweet. So you make one of your creatures fight something that your opponent to your left controls, and then that player can do the same if they want. And then if they do, then the next player can then do the same if they want, and then the next player can do the same if they want, and then it comes back to you, and if you want, you can just keep on fighting until everything's dead, or someone can choose to stop. I love that. Alright, next we got an ancient silver dragon. So there's a cycle of 5 mythic dragons that are just ancient and big, and they all do something with a d20. In this case, this one, when it does combat damage, you roll the d20, and you draw cards equal to that amount, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. So if you're lucky, you'll smack someone and draw like 18 cards. If you're unlucky, you'll hit someone and draw 1. But, you know what? That's why it's fun. We love a bit of non-deterministic fun. Why not? Next, we've got the Council of 4. And we've got Baal again, but we've already seen Baal. Let's move on. We've got the Council of 4. 5 mana for a 0/8. Whenever a player draws their second card during a turn, you draw a card. Oh, no, during their turn. So if a player draws more than one card on their own turn, you piggyback off them and draw a card too. And whenever a player casts their second spell during their turn, you make it 2/2. It's not bad, but it's in blue. I feel like this might have been better if it was in like black-white, or maybe a color that doesn't draw as many cards, because that's kind of what this does. It balances out the table a little bit for your favor, but that's okay. Next, we have Majestic Genesis and a sketch of Baal. That's nice. Nice. He looks horrifying. Ooh, we got a Cruel Celebrant from the list. Not bad. Alright. And we have Majestic Genesis. 8 mana. Reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the greatest mana value of a commander you own, or a commander on the battlefield, or in the command zone. You may put any number of permanents from among them into play. Nice. And we got a 5 mana, 5/5 with flying. Whenever a dragon you control is dealt damage, it does that much damage to any target that isn't a dragon. So if you have a bunch of dragons, cast Blasphemous Act, do 13 damage to everything, this thing goes, sweet, all my dragons took 13, all of that stuff takes 13 as well. Which is probably players, because then everything else is dead. So that's nice. Alright, next. We have a Ravenloft Adventurer. We have Mazzy again. Oh yes, we have a foiled Glunch. We have a foil-edged Glunch. I love this. This will probably be my commander. This is awesome. And we have Ravenloft Adventurer. When it comes into play, you take the initiative. If a creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it with a hit counter. Whenever she attacks, if you've completed a dungeon, defending player loses 1 life for each card they own in exile with a hit counter on it. Neat. Alright, second to last pack. Here we go. Something spicy. Oh, we got a mythic. And we got them, and we got them. Nice. So, an enchantment. At the start of your upkeep, put 2 descent counters on this. Then each player creates X treasures, and this does X damage to each player, where X is the number of counters on it. I think this card is average because you're ramping all your opponents as well, but if you're in it just for the chaos or just for the kicks of making the game go faster, this is the card for you. We have a 4 mana 0/4 with Trample and Myriad. Whenever it's attacking, it gets plus X plus O, where X is the number of lands defending player controls. So it's not an attack trigger, but it triggers when it's attacking, which is... that's not bad. I like it. And we got Volo, except now Volo's blue. He lost his green, and now he's a 2/3. But when he comes into play, he makes Volo's Journal, a legendary colorless artifact with hexproof, and whenever you cast a creature spell, note one of its creature types that hasn't been noted for this artifact, and then you pay 2, draw a card for each creature type noted for target permanent you control named Volo's Journal. So that's sweet, because that way, Volo can die as many times as you want, but as long as the journal sticks around, he still is good. Oh, and you can choose a background, so he can be whatever color you want now. blue and X. So he can be a cultist and he can be blue-black. Nice. Alright, last pack. Here we go. Okay. So, we have a Londo, and we have Dinner here, and we have an Altar of Baal, and we have a Boo token. Neat. Alright. Altar of Baal. 2 mana for an artifact. It has an adventure, which makes a skeleton, and you can exile a creature you control to make a creature come back tapped with a sorcery, as a sorcery. Nice. Well, at sorcery speed, I should say. We have Dinah here, Invoker Adept. She's a Jeskai, 1 blue, red, white for a 4/4 with haste. You may activate abilities of other creatures you control as though they had haste. Nice. And when you next activate an ability this turn by spending 4 or more mana to activate it, copy it. So she cares about big activated abilities. That's pretty neat. Alright, and last, Alaundo the Seer. He looks like Saw Gerrera from Rogue One. He's a 3/5 for 4 mana. He taps and draws a card, and then exiles a card from your hand and puts a number of time counters on it equal to the mana value. And it gains, when the last time counter is removed, you may cast it without paying. If it's a creature, it gains haste. And then you remove a time counter from each other card you own in exile. So he sort of snowballs the suspend, which is pretty sweet. Alright, that's going to do it for this box of Commander Legends Dungeons & Dragons Battle for Baldur's Gate. I hope this was helpful for you. This was my first sort of attempt at a video like this. I've had a good time. I've sort of been learning cards on the go, and it's been quite nerve-wracking, but I hope you enjoyed it. If you had any thoughts, feelings, tips, or just comments, feel free to let me know. I'm very keen to do more things like this in the future. I will hopefully, well, I know I will get better at it, but this was my first sort of rushed attempt. I hope you enjoyed it. These cards are all really new and exciting, and I was trying not to trip over my words while I was saying them. But yeah, thank you so very much for watching. We'll do another box in the near future, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye-bye for now, fellow land creatures, and I'll see you in the next plane.